Hello and welcome to 3D History, where we're going to talk to you about things that others aren't going to talk to you about. So today, for our first ever broadcast, we want to talk about why is it we remember villains? Why do we always remember the bad guys but not the good guys? This week, Billy the Kid was killed by a sheriff at the end of his very short but busy career. That is, Billy the Kid's, not the sheriff's. And so we remember Billy the Kid, but no one, unless you're a real aficionado, is going to remember the name of the sheriff who killed him. It's the same thing with all of the other villains you can think about. Think about Al Capone. Does anybody remember the name of the accountant who found the fact he wasn't paying his income tax and therefore he went to jail? John Dillinger. We remember the lady in the red dress. We remember he was at a movie theater. Remember he was watching the movie Manhattan Melodrama. But we can't remember the name of the FBI agent that finally ended Dillinger's career. So, why is it? I think it's because many of the villains that we remember aren't garden variety criminals. These were people, mostly men, though Bonnie and Clyde certainly breaks the rules. But mostly it's men who were fighting the establishment. Dillinger, well, he robbed banks. When asked why does he rob banks, he said, because that's where the money is. Well, of course that's true, but what did that really mean? Well, in the 1930s, the banks were foreclosing on farms and businesses across the United States and Canada, and so they were the bad guys. And John Dillinger was simply, at least in the minds of many, fighting Capone, made sure that he was always on the good side of the public. He ran soup kitchens. He ran places where people who were poor could come and find a way for shelter and food. And so to the average citizen, what did Capone really do? He sold some alcohol. Yeah, it was illegal. There was prohibition. But really and truly, was he a bad guy? Well, the St. Valentine's Day massacre, where 7 men were killed by Capone and his gang, would probably say, yeah, he was a bad guy. But the average citizen didn't see it that way. And let's get back to Billy the Kid. In 1881, Billy the Kid is killed by a sheriff, at the end of Billy's career of murder and mayhem across the West. But again, people remember Billy not for being a young man who killed people, but rather for a man who fought for a way of life, the Western lifestyle. He fought in the cattle range wars, and he fought to make sure that the cattlemen could keep predominant in a country that was quickly turning to farming. So do we remember the good guys? Seldom. But boy, do we remember the bad guys.